everybody. Just getting started here. Thanks everybody for joining us. I love all these Otter AI note takers. That's cool.
No, is that getting popular?
So yeah, got people coming in. If you don't mind in the chat, just let us know if you can hear us okay. Everyone just missed a riveting story about
Quiet you.
James. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what just happened. In the green room,
Just it
James
prepared
needed a
us.
picture taken, and it ended up with him saying that he's always small in Dan's eyes. I think he
And
was
no
referring to his
communication on my part.
Zoom.
Boy, Harry missed it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
meant, yeah.
saying, I love the angle that Dan's got on his screen right now.
Well, thank you. I have it set up really high, so to hide the neck fat. So you have the double chin.
Oh,
So if you have it a little higher, so
I
That's
thought it
what
was that
my
you were always looking up, as visionaries often do.
well, I do that also. My
Yeah.
the cabin picture of me just just thinking about the future. Thinking about the
Pensive
future.
Dan.
I can't grow a beard, so that's why. So I have to have my camera up high. So
Should grow a mustache.
When we
yeah,
got
yeah,
Sebastian on this meeting, none of us need to even attempt a beard. Look at that.
yeah.
I can
Yeah, it's
do
good
this. I
work.
tried.
Good work over
Beautiful,
there.
beautiful facial accessory over here.
All right,
Which
I
so
does
work.
feel like it does feel like a natural lead in to our guest. Hey Natalia, thanks for coming on. Um, Sebastian
we haven't
Cortez.
driven
Well,
away everybody.
no, people actually stayed. So maybe we'll do a spin-off about whatever the hell it was you guys were talking about. I forgot what it was. I was just waiting to get in to start office hours number 10.
Number
So
10, double digits,
number
baby.
10. Thanks everyone for joining us. I am Harry Kerbo, the Senior Director of Paid Social Media Marketing here at CINC. My counterpart on the Google side, James Terry, is here in front of many leather-bound books. And as always, the most handsome man on the internet who did use the word potting as a verb today, and I'm not sure how I
Yeah,
feel about it. Dan Lott.
it's happening.
Uh,
It's happening.
yeah, and more on that in a minute. But before we get into all that, I do want to introduce our guest today, Sebastian Cortes. He is from the Sync Frontline support team. And honestly, the guy that I go to when I don't know what people are talking about. So he is a wealth of knowledge on the Sync CRM. I think you said, have you been here since 2019? Is that right?
Yep. We're going on
Very
6 years
cool.
now.
All right. Um, whoa, Wayland's AI
Wayland.
assistant announces it's sentient. That's great. Hey, Wayland's assistant. I hope
I
you're
was gonna
having a
say
great day.
we better welcome it or something. We don't want the AI turning against us.
Yeah, yeah. This will eventually devolve into talking about the goof from the Matrix, but we're not there yet. Um, yeah, so Sebastian, if you don't mind, like just kind of tell us a little bit about, what you do on the frontline team and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like a tier two support. It's given me a chance to really expand my knowledge base about what how all of our products and features kind of interact with each other. My I would think my main role is whenever clients call in and they have an issue that they report to us, a bug, a request, something like that, it kind of makes its way up the flagpole and to me, where I'll kind of vet it. I'll make sure it's got all the details it needs. If it's a bug, I'll make sure it's got everything that the tech team needs to look in to verify it's a bug and then work on fixing it. And then for me, it makes its way over to our tech product team. to do whatever the ticket requests to be done.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Because we got a lot of good questions that are more on the support side. We also got a lot of questions about kind of lead flow at this time of the year. And so we'll talk about that as well. But I see Natalia's question. It's also similar to another question that we got from Justin when he signed up, just around videos. Both questions are kind of around using videos in communication, right? So Natalia said, how do you include video message or video inside of emails? In Orlando, look at that. So is that something that can be done? Like, what are there best practices around it? What would you say to Natalia? Other than the link that Orlando just posted.
Yeah, so context on the link that Orlando posted, that's kind of that's one of two workarounds for including video and email, because a lot of email carriers don't like it if you just embed a video in your email. If they see that, your email is much more likely to land in a spam or junk folder. So that's why we don't have the option to just embed a video in the email. Or I actually think we do have a button to do it, but our system sanitizes that email before it actually sends to the client, and we remove the embedded video. And that is to just give the email a better chance at landing in the inbox folder as opposed to spam or junk. The two workarounds we have, one of them is in that link that Orlando posted, where you kind of just take the first frame of the video, you take a screenshot of that, you upload it into your email, and you hyperlink that image to lead to like the YouTube video of that of that video. That's something that if you include 4, 5, 6 of those, then that also kind of ends up having the same effect as embedding video in your email. But if it's just one, your email's most likely still going to go into the inbox. The other option is with our video messaging feature, where you record video from within the platform. It's housed in our video library in the CRM, and then there's an option when you're sending email or text, kind of towards the bottom of that window that pops up where you type in what you want to send. There's a little video hyperlink. You click on that, it opens up the video library. You select the video you recorded, and then you can send it from there. And I don't know exactly what kind of tech magic uploading video that way. I don't know why that works and embedding wouldn't work, but I do know the video messaging feature is it was specifically designed in a way to kind of bypass that check that a lot of email carriers have for embedded video. So yeah.
Well, they spent
it's
a lot of time on that video feature. I remember like it was years ago, and it works. It works good, and
Yeah.
it does the
no, it's
doesn't work.
terrible.
But I guess because you got to upload in, like, I don't know. Whenever I go to like whenever I go to like the Google system and have to like upload videos, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. It's too much work. So I guess the shortcut is just doing like a screenshot and then like doing that.
Yeah,
But
I think
the other one works great if you have time, or if you're looking for additional functionality, I guess. It seems
Yeah.
like it's that way.
Yeah, because that's one of the limitations with video messaging, is that you have to record the video in the system. So if you do have something that's already uploaded to YouTube, use just using the screenshot, hyperlinking the screenshot, that's probably going to be easier. But if you have something you just kind of want to record in the moment, then video messaging is probably going to be it's probably going to be better for that.
So many options though. So that's
And,
good.
and what an unsung piece, like you had said. One thing I heard just now was, if you put it in this certain spot, like we sanitize it, so the goal being that it ends up in an inbox and not a spam folder. Because once you send it, you don't know where they're seeing it, where it's being received. And so just such a background piece that we're focused on to say, we know where you want this to go. Spam doesn't do anybody any good. here's something we do that I don't think we yelled from the rooftops or anything, but just something that was implemented to say, hey, you worked on this and we want to make sure people see it, right?
Yeah.
When the image with the hyperlink is pretty standard practice. That's what MailChimp has.
Hmm.
So the emails that I do for this session where we include the replay of the previous, that is a image with a hyperlink to the YouTube channel. So, I mean, honestly, if you think about it from a social standpoint, like a market, like a social media standpoint, not social, I don't talk to people, but like a social media standpoint, it's more valuable to you to get that person on your YouTube channel or your Facebook page or your landing page than it is for them to watch something within an email. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty standard practice. And again, like MailChimp used to have an option to upload a video. That does not exist anymore. Their video option is just a placeholder image with a link. So I think that's pretty standard. And it's funny that you bring up all the spam stuff because I feel like video messaging was done around COVID
Yep.
during when that was just starting up, and at that same time, it's been through so many iterations of like text message compliance and spam filtering and like the Can-Am and all this stuff. Um, anyway, it just took me down memory lane. I'm thinking of Doug.
Yeah, I think that was one of the last company meetings that I had in person in the office before we started working from home. I remember that too.
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
yesterday.
Memory lane. Yes.
Memory lane. All right, let's see. And so another question that we did have kind of along the same lines, but I think when we talked about these before before the session, Sebastian, you said that this may be more of like a feature request. And I don't know if you touched on this or not just now, but Justin's question again around videos in the library was um it would be nice if they could upload videos to the library to send out versus having to record them do they do it in the app? I'm not even sure where you record it.
Yeah, so you actually you use microphone and camera permissions to record the video like in your browser on your computer, or you can do it in the Sync Agent app, but it works a little bit differently. It works a little bit more like Snapchat there, where you record a video at the time you're composing the text message to attach to it, and then it doesn't go in the video library.
Does
Yeah,
it automatically put a cat face on you?
that's another that's another thing we can probably send up as
All
product
right,
feedback.
yeah, let's
Feature
Yeah,
see.
request.
I like that.
Orlando, I bet Orlando's on board with that.
But
So,
yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to derail things. I apologize.
but yeah, so you can record video on the app or on desktop. On the app, it's I don't want to say it's slightly more limited. It just kind of has a different. I think it was more designed for a different use case than when you can sit down and record something a little bit longer on desktop. So yeah,
So yeah, that's good. I mean, we appreciate the feedback. Absolutely. Justin and Natalia and everybody for submitting questions. So that is something we can definitely pass along as feedback to the product team. Uh, Jemima asked, how do you go back and find emails and text messages that have been sent to clients? Is there an easy way to do that? Orlando mentions the lead profile.
yeah,
Um,
that's probably the easiest way. Anything that you send to a lead should show up in the lead profile in the activity tab. We do have some filters. If you're looking from top to bottom, you see the activity tab. There should be a filters button, and you can specifically choose to deselect everything and just do text messages, emails, property alerts, and it'll just show, probably a slightly smaller list. Because by default, I think we have everything checked. So I think looking in the lead profile is definitely the easiest. Technically, we have a communications inbox too off on the left-hand side of the CRM, we do technically have a sent folder in there, so anything that you send should show up in there, but we don't have the best filtering options there. So it just shows, like, if you send a mass email to 100 leads, it's going to show 100 emails in there. So, going into the lead profile is definitely easiest.
Let's see. Angela is asking, recently changed my brokerage. Is there a way for the templates to be updated with the new signatures so I don't have to edit every time going forward? Um, so I think, is that talking about like auto tracks or emails going out? Is there like a central place to change that email signature that gets attached?
It depends. So if it is auto tracks, if it's email templates, and you actually created the template and included your signature in there, you would have to unfortunately individually edit each template that's set up in. If it's just, whenever you click to create an email and you see your signature in there, that's housed in your profile and settings. We have, if you click on your name at the top right, and you go to the profile and settings in the drop down menu, that takes you exactly where you need to be. There's a little signature box, and you can edit it there. And then anytime you manually create an email, you get a mass email set up, then it'll have the new signature instead. But going back to with like templates and stuff, the template just kind of works with what's inside what you've created. So you would have to go in there to change it. And each template would be kind of like a separate, so you'd have to go into every template, unfortunately there. So yeah, they just
Cool.
And actually, on that, if I could jump in, Angela, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is something like it, doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, as far as a brokerage change like this, like say, I'm just going to make a couple up, right, as examples. But if somebody goes from like Keller Williams to EXP, or whatever it might be, let your account manager know, and let us know about that, because we have like branding on your website, and our team specifically, the search team and the digital advertising crew, will take time and go through your Google profile page, for example, and make sure, like, oh, the website button on your profile is still sending back to a Keller Williams page or something like that, and just find some suggestions that you might need to update this. We can't update all of them for you because we don't have, just to keep with that example, access to your Google profile. But just making sure the branding is updated and looking through some of that digital, everything you've got out there in the digital space, to say, these are a couple of items you might need to check, because a lot of that stuff gets buried and you might not think about it all the time, to your point of having to go through and update every single thing. And yeah, there's stuff within the CINC dashboard, but a lot of it's just out there in the ether as well, right? So something we don't get notified of a whole lot, to think like, oh, I'm changing brokerages, let me tell my lead generation team about that. But from an online lead gen perspective, it's something we want to be able to make sure is still in line with your branding as you move forward. So let us know if that, as those things happen.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that is
nice.
Oh, I was just gonna say that is a good call out, because like if you're running team listing ads, that's based off of your office ID, and if you change brokerage, if there's a change in that in any way, that'll remove all the listings from the ads if we don't know about it. Or there's also, Google is really cracking down on suspensions. That seems to be one of their KPIs this year. So
Yeah, they want to make sure that that branding is consistent, right? And that nobody's with EXP as they move forward, and not still claiming that they're with Keller Williams and trying to pull, misleading clients and things like that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to say you've gotten it all changed up. Good stuff.
Yeah, there is, and this is, Angela, you said you've gotten it all changed, but for anyone else who might need it, it sounds like a lot, but we do have a pretty streamlined process for it on our end. So if you just email the support team and you say, hey, I changed my brokerage, what do I need to do? We have a template with a few questions for you to answer, we send to you. So there's a little bit of back and forth, but that template automatically gets you in contact with our MLS team, and they help you update all that. So it's fairly streamlined. It sounds like a lot when you just kind of say everything that you need to update, but we can absolutely help you with that. Yeah.
Very cool. And can you let me see if I remember the support number. 8 starts with an 8. Oh, it's right up there. 855-246-2717.
Yeah, I guess I'll
Good
also.
guess.
What a great guess by me. Or support at syncpro.com. Yeah.
Well,
Sebastian, taking time to type into the chat.
am I not supposed to do that?
Actually, taking time to type into the chat reminds me, we didn't ask everybody where they're from.
Oh my God. We know you're from Atlanta, James.
No, I was going to change it this time.
So feel free to do that if you want. And Angela said, is there a daily routine to stay on top of the database that we can follow? Can you email us? I know just briefly, we have a lot of free training options that you can take advantage of. So there's John Marone's Agent Blueprint, which is a 6-week training course that goes over everything, from the generation of the lead to the setting the appointment and the scripting, all that good stuff. There's this wonderful soon to be podcast, now just webinar series, Office Hours. You can take advantage of that. There's a lot of archive trainings, the support line that is in the chat right now, the email address that's in the chat right now. So, one of the big differentiators, I think, between CINC and other competitors is, just the access that you have for free training, and then also the support side of things to talk to an actual human being, that understands what you're trying to do, and that talking to someone like Sebastian, who's been there for 6 years, and has seen multiple iterations. So take advantage of that, and also Sync U, which is a live 3-day training that we hear rave reviews about. I think the next one may be going on here soon, but I think the next one's in Atlanta. So you can find all that at synccommunity.com. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, and
I was
online
gonna
conversion
ask.
day.
Are you talking
Online
James?
conversion.
All right. I was gonna ask Sebastian, like the question that was just asked. That seemed like a pretty common question. Like somebody is kind of like what do I do? I'm sort of I'm extrapolating. Like maybe they're overwhelmed. Like I don't know. Like who do I call? What do I do? Like I assume you get that phone call a lot. And
We do.
like what do you like? What is the John Marone gives the 6-hour answer, but what's the the 6-minute answer to the question?
So I would definitely say that obviously support has a little bit of insight, but we're primarily focused on the tech support side of things. So we might not be able to give you the best insight. That being said, just working at CINC, we hear a lot about, the agent playbook. We have our saved filters that are designed in a way to where you literally just to start your day, you go to your agent launchpad, you start with those saved filters, you call who needs to be called, you follow up on reminders that need to be followed up on that day. I do think reaching out to your account manager is a very good thing to do in that situation, because I think they have some documentation. Like I think there's specifically a PDF that we have called the Sync Agent Playbook that kind of tells you what Sync's path to success looks like using our CRM. What you should start doing every day. Every couple of weeks you should maybe do this. When you call somebody, what kind of we have a little bit of a what are they called, a
Like the
script.
scripting? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry. So there's a little bit of a script in there that you can follow. So I don't think I have that PDF, although maybe it is something I should ask an account manager for. Maybe I can circulate that through the support team so that we can have, I don't know, something more that we can provide to account man or to clients rather than just saying, start by calling your account manager. But that is currently the best answer we have is to reach out to your account manager because they do have access to a few more resources that the support team doesn't. So yeah.
Yeah, there are all these different filters and stuff like that. It's very complicated, and well, I know we have like yesterday we had our product team like talked about like what are they doing for the month, and they're like rolling out a whole bunch of great stuff for the month, and then a lot of it always has to do with identifying who are the people to call, like who are the best people to call, and they're constantly refining it, making it better so that when you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to call your leads or half an hour, like we're trying to identify, we're making changes in our department too. But they are also. So, yeah, talk to your account manager. I don't know when you started, but there's probably a different place like, oh, the agent ready leads versus the P1 or whatever they are. So, yeah, talk to your account manager. We're constantly, the tech team, the product team is constantly, working on, refining that and honing in on who are the best people to call.
Yeah, and the account manager also helps you if you do want to sign up for some training with one of our trainers. Your account manager is a good point of contact for that as well. If you want to go to CINC University, your account manager can help set that up. And of course, calling to support, we can kind of get you in, started with that as well. But I do think the account manager, this is one of those things where that's kind of what your account manager is there for. So they can definitely help you out with getting more guidance on how you should be working the system, where you should start, how you can find success with it. So yeah.
But I think that is going back to what I said about the level of support that you get from CINC. It's not just a line that you can call into with people that can help on the tech side. We have people that specialize in that can help you with that. But if you have questions around scripting, we have the account manager who can kind of be your hub to get you in contact with people. If you have questions about your marketing campaign, your account manager can set up a call with one of us that are on right now, and we'll have a dedicated call with you and, talk for an hour about your campaign and strengths and weaknesses and that kind of stuff. I mean, even as you purchase CINC, there's a whole team that gets everything set up in the back end. There's a whole team that teaches you how to do the basic functions in the CRM before you graduate to your account manager. So, I talk a lot about the changes that I've seen at CINC over the last 10 years. But I do think that is a substantial one of, we've really gone from get as many leads as we can. Like that's still get as many good leads as we can. And we've even pushed cost per lead up over the years intentionally to get better leads. Still within reason, but you just have all these differing levels of support that you can take advantage of. So please do. I lost my train of thought. I'm not sure if those two connect or not.
Well, no, so the question was like, what do I need to do next, right? Or like, where am I at? And with several dozen people on this, listening in right now, there's no, Harry, to your point, there's no one-line response that we have for that. The account manager can look into your dashboard and say, oh, it looks like your contact ratio is not, or, your follow-up's not where it needs to be. And they can say like, have you been spending time in the launch pad or do you keep an eye on this? When I look at the leads dashboard, I filter it in a certain way, depending on if the client I'm talking to has been live or, been with us, or the campaign's been live for 3 months or 5 years. Right. And so say like, here's how I look at and prioritize those things, but it's so case specific. And so that's why that answer has to be like, somebody's got to look in and dig into your dashboard to be able to answer that question most effectively, right?
Yeah, I think the timing is really important, like how long the site has been around, because expectations are, if you've been around for a year and a half, my expectation of what I'm going to see in your CRM and your pipelines is different than if you've been around 4 months. And that's a totally different conversation, even, based on like a lot of it at 4 months is probably, you should be seeing some signs of positive movement. We're at a year and a half. Like you should have some leads that have closed, most likely. And that maybe is a follow-up thing, but we have training for all of that. And the big emphasis, I picked up my train of thought now. The big emphasis over the past 10 years has been to identify, yes, it's a numbers game. We want to get as many good leads in as we can and convert those as quickly as possible. But we also want to do incremental gains in that numbers game can mean a lot. So surfacing people who have been in the database for a while, who are taking important activities, there's a lot of focus on that right now. There's new things coming out. So utilizing your account manager, the training team. I did post the success playbook link in the chat as well. So that is, yeah, Angela, that's a good thing to use as just kind of a starting point for a daily routine. We did just get a question from Craig. Craig said, any recommendations or successes with lead conversations about the new requirement for a buyer agent agreement for showings? So if I understand that right, that is referring to one of the changes that came from the multiple lawsuits, I believe, of, you need to work with a buyer. Thank you. Yeah, to work with a buyer, they need to sign an agreement with you first. So I have some rudimentary thoughts on this, and then somebody can fill in with some more concrete things. But I do think that lawsuit makes providers like CINC even more valuable, because you look at someone like a Zillow or a Realtor.com, you're getting that lead much, much further down the pipeline, like down the funnel, than you are from a CINC lead. Of course, the trade-off is the time it takes to close it. But I've always felt that those changes to the way that that agents and buyers have to behave is beneficial for someone using CINC, because you are capturing that person, at the beginning of their search. So I mean, I mean, the Charleston sale is, likely an example of that. Dan, I know you haven't talked about that yet today, but I mean, but really it is. It likely is, right? An example of that. So I don't know what you guys think about that. And I think I feel like I may be making this up, but I feel like we did something with one of our partners to incorporate buyer agreements into the system when this happened.
We're looking at you, Sebastian.
I'm trying to think about it, because I know that was, well, no,
It was
we had around for
it was bandied.
But
It was bandied about.
I know there were steps made to simplify it, right? Because it was made as a requirement.
Does Orlando know? I know Orlando's in the crowd. Maybe you'll.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think what you're talking about there is the SkySlope integration.
Yes.
Which, yeah, so we kind of, because we had that in our system for a while, kind of in a different spot, but then I think when the NRA lawsuit happened, it was a little bit after we had introduced the deals feature, which I think kind of helps with that, because it makes tracking those transactions in the platform a little bit easier. But we also moved the SkySlope integration to that deals dashboard. So it's, instead of having to like go through your profile and settings, click on SkySlope and go over there, now you just kind of click the actions in the deals dashboard, and you can go straight to SkySlope from there. It's not a direct integration, but we kind of moved things around to make it a little more streamlined. I think I think that's what you're talking about, right?
And I know that it would be mentioned, like the question, any recommendations with successes for lead conversion, um, came not long after we were talking about some of the classes and the everything that's available from Sync. I know the links were posted in here for syncommunity.com, but one that wasn't mentioned specifically is the online conversion day, where they talk about going through. It's all about, I think it's what, 3 or 4 hours, and the power hour and the calling. But that's a big part of it, and it's really the place for those kinds of questions. And I look seeing if Orlando got the sky slope spelled right. But online conversion day is a great resource for this specific case, right? For this kind of a question.
Yeah, I'm looking for
Autocorrect. Sure, Orlando, autocorrect.
I'm looking for that link. Here's the Sync community link that also at the bottom has a one of the training webinars that I think was recently updated was the Essential Training series that I think is done, or it is done by our training team. So if you go to the bottom of that page, past the beautiful picture of three certain beautiful people, you'll find the Essential Training webinar resources, which is recordings of those trainings. So yeah, I mean, my overall take on that, it's something that we always used to talk about when we talked about along, in the past, how like contractions in the housing market. I think a lot of that stuff benefits the stronger teams, the more established teams with the better processes, because a lot of teams were likely doing something like this already. Um, and it's just interesting to watch, like, as from COVID, I know that so many people became realtors, and now it's just kind of contracting some. It seems naturally. I know my dad he was an HR rep, and he got his real estate license during COVID.
Wow. I did not
He was a
know that.
he was a
Yeah.
terrible realtor. I don't think he sold anything
Terrible HR rep.
I think
because he did great HR rep, great HR rep. Okay, you can check it. There's lists.
Well, should we talk about leads? Harry, is there a question about leads?
Whoa, Dan, that was literally
Seasonality? Maybe seasonality?
literally what I was about to talk about.
Okay.
Wow. Get out of my head. We did have some questions. A lot of questions really around leads, lead flow. One of the ones that I saw in particular that I thought was interesting was around uh, false appointments. So people setting appointments. I'm wondering if one of the things that we've seen from leads, specifically from social, is so team listing ads or listcast. In this case, is that we ask a question of, do you want to tour this home on that ad? If they say yes, it creates a showing for noon the next day. We have heard feedback around these being, kind of ghost appointments or incorrect appointments. I see the disconnect, as we look through the whole pipeline. I do see the disconnect of, that person is saying, yes, I'm ready to tour the home. They don't know that a showing's being created at noon. So there is a disconnect in the follow-up. Clients usually call to confirm the appointment. The lead doesn't know about the appointment. Even with that confusion, our data has shown that those leads that say yes are much more likely to set an appointment than those that don't. But it's creating too many appointments. So I'm not sure if that was specifically what that question was talking about, but we do have a change in the works right now to adjust that so that the showing request is not created. But it does still show up in the same places that it shows up in now. So that is some common feedback that we get. We get that here. And we're making a change to address that. Just wanted to let everyone know. I'm sorry, I don't have the specific list of questions pulled up, so I don't know specifically who asked that, but If you are on there or if you are seeing that, we are addressing that.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
wanted to comment on that also. So it's both on the Facebook side and the Google side. And so I guess Facebook, Google, on the Google or on just on the general, we didn't ask that as part of the registration flow. And now we do ask that question as of a month ago. And so on Facebook, we've been asking for a couple of years. And I think there might have been some more false positives, like of people saying, yeah, I want to look at the house, or like not. So Harry, on that side, we're getting too many. And so Harry has made it so it's going to be, you're going to get fewer of those by changing some of the verbiage on the, um, actually, I'm not sure if this is, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're going to make the verbiage more kind of restrictive. So it's going to be, you're going to get more serious, like only serious people are going to say, yes, I want to do it. And then it's going to not set an appointment for the next day. It's going to be more, it's going to be a property alert.
Property inquiry.
Property.
It'll show as a property inquiry, so it'll just show a note in the property that they signed up on. But yeah, I mean, this is an example of we're actually dialing back the number of showing requests that we generate because it's not accurate, So we're not beholden to saying like, oh, you're gonna get so many showing. We are looking at this kind of stuff and we are making changes based on your feedback.
And then on the Google side, or just on the site side, as part of the registration flow, I guess around a month ago, it was the new flow was enacted, and most leads come from Google. I would say probably 3/4 to 80% come from Google. So that's why you probably have noticed more leads, because we're asking the question, do you want to tour this house? And at one time, do you want to tour this house? So we're asking those two questions. You have to press little buttons. So you're getting all these leads. Again, like, people are inundated because we never asked this question before, but it's a very obvious question to ask. It's a very good question to ask. It shows a greater intent to, you know, want to tour a house if they actually explicitly say, yes, I would like to tour this house. But again, same with on the Facebook side, the product team is experimenting with different wordings and stuff like that, just to hone in on who exactly are the people who definitely do want to tour a house, by making the language more restrictive, or making the buttons, I think maybe one of the buttons is pre-checked or something. I'm not sure what it is, but um, they're experimenting and doing a lot of testing just to see what is going to result in producing a list of leads that definitely want to tour a house and definitely should be called as soon as possible. And that's kind of the goal. And I think they're doing a good job with that. And it's a work in progress, and it's continually getting better.
Greg Park in Utah. More question. Data and what is Sync's data and average time from lead? Well, I want to say one more thing about the showing request. I am excited for this because even though, like, if you think about the flow, the client is getting notified that the lead wants a showing at noon. So the follow up is not the standard follow up. The follow up is, hey, I'll see you at noon. And it seems like a lot of times the leads are saying, who are you, weirdo? So even with that happening, those leads are 5 times as likely to set an appointment. So if we keep the notification, like, it will still fall in contact requested where it is now. I think it does merit contact requested because they've taken that extra step that we've seen is more likely to set an appointment. It's just now the follow up is going to match with the leads and what the lead expected. So I think it'll help. I think it will increase actual showings by not creating the showing. So, yeah, it's deep. Yeah, look into the lake. What do you see, Dan?
Can I answer a question about seasonality on lead flow, Harry? Do we have that one
Wait, no.
on the list?
how can you say I'll see you at noon without no it? Right. Yeah. So if you look at the development of this kind, so CINC I always say is an iterative platform. So creating the showing request a long time ago, we didn't have all the dashboards that we have now. And we also had a lot more trouble getting leads from Facebook into the site. We do that through the real verified text now, which brings a much higher percentage of the leads onto the site and lets them interact with the site. So we created the showing at noon to alert a client that someone had expressed that interest. Again, this was years ago. Now we have all the new dashboards. We do a much better job of surfacing that activity, so we don't need that showing request anymore, and it is a more accurate representation of what it is, and it's based on feedback from clients. Dan, do you want to answer Craig's question, or do you want to talk about seasonality?
What was the question? I
What
don't
is
listen to the days.
Yeah, the most handsome man on the internet gets questions read to him.
Yeah. That's a cutoff. It's tough. It's so.
It's hard. Yeah, no, it's hard. Yeah.
When it reaches a certain age, Harry, you can't see as well.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah, no, I know.
Too high up.
That's what I was thinking about today. Like, is this my midlife crisis? Like, some people buy a Lamborghini. I grew a mustache and started a lightly attended Q&A webinar. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you in 10 years. So Craig asked, what is CINC's data on average time from lead to closing? So I can talk about this. I can talk about a lot of things, but I can talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It varies. Actually, yeah, it varies. I know we always say Harry will say some stats, but we also, as some of we have different products and different ways you can sign up for CINC, and then one of them gives us a lot of visibility as to the closing dates of leads and when the lead was generated, and we see somewhere it's 2 weeks, from maybe not the closing, I guess, but it's
I saw one today that was under 20 days.
It's under 20 days. So it's
under 20 days.
So it's because it just makes sense. If somebody is searching and they look at well, of course, the example we'll use the Charleston house, the most expensive house in the history of Charleston, who they just looked at a house on our site and then.
Who generated that lead?
That was generated by us.
They come about.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And it was within 3 weeks, or it was under contract within 10 days. So, or you will also, because we also have visibility in this stuff, it's or it's somebody who's 7 years ago registered and then they finally decided to buy a house. They've been busy. They haven't been looking for houses. So 7 years passed. But, on that, I don't know, Harry, if you or James, if you have some stats, but it can go, it can be anywhere. And it's just based on the, it's just just like regular people, do you need to buy a house now or can you wait 5 years?
7 years.
7 years.
7 years. I know Harry will have some stats. I was going to say, we take steps and measures towards trying to bring that date, that down closer, right? And the way we do that on the search side anyway is by not avoiding, but by supplementing campaign. We don't want to avoid broad market search terms, but we want to supplement the campaign with more granular terms, as Dan was talking about with that Charleston lead. The lead was searching for historic homes in Charleston. Now, the client didn't say, I want to focus on historic homes. They mentioned Charleston, and we went in and dug down and said, Charleston historic homes get search volume, performs well. People look for this kind of thing. And so we'll look into gated communities, in certain markets. Las Vegas, there might be high rises, get a lot of search volume. So we'll dig down into some of those more granular. And then we also use radius targeting to say, okay, within Atlanta, for example, right? Homes for sale in Atlanta could be pretty broad and people might be pretty far from a buying decision. But if they're searching for homes for sale in the Walton School District, for example, they're further along in that, or at least that's the theory, right? By the time they know where their kids are going to school, they know the price point in that area, and we can look into Atlanta and say, okay, here's areas within Atlanta that get search volume that have a good cost per lead that convert well, and we'll add those to the campaign proactively. We don't have to have conversations. We know if a Walton School District lead comes in, it is in Atlanta. It is an Atlanta lead, which was what was requested. So we'll take measures on our side to try and drill down and find that traffic that's searching in your market that is closer to the buying decision. Now, I don't have, again, the stats towards here's the number, oh, the average is 3 months or whatever. But those are some of the steps that we take to try and improve that number as best as we can.
But yeah, and that's another thing, as like Harry mentioned, just how like maybe foregoing some cost per lead just to get better leads or something like that. Like at least there's now an ongoing emphasis towards like identifying what are the ones that sell, and just eyeballing it. Like a lot of it's we don't have enough data because like it's some clients like will take the leads out of the database, put them in another database, and so we don't know if which one sold, so we can't tie it back to the ad group in Google. But so now we have some visibility because for other reasons, and then a brief analysis of it shows that it is the neighborhood ad groups, it is the niche ad groups. They're the one, even though like those are a small percentage of the leads that we deliver, like the neighborhoods, the Walton School District. But those, there's been a lot of these neighborhood ad groups and that delivered acquisitions, that delivered actual closings. And so that it goes into like the micro targeting, hyperlocal micro targeting, and how that, those aren't going to be most of your leads, but those could be your best leads. And those are the ones that close faster because they are close. They're down the funnel, or up the funnel, down the funnel.
Yeah, as we keep watching these stats, it'll be interesting to see what closes over the longer term, because it would make sense that someone searching for a more general like city search would just take longer to convert. But yeah, I mean, you hit on it in terms of, a specific expectation of, when leads close. There's a lot of obstacles to us being able to generate that information. I mean, you just think about how different people use the CRM, how different people use the pipeline. I've seen, sometimes closed means don't follow up with them in the pipeline, and that skews all the data, if somebody has a lot of those. So over the past few years, we worked to identify people who we thought used the pipeline in, the way that we would expect it to be used. We segmented those people, created. Oh, Waylon. Oh,
Is
sorry.
the AI leaving us? Where
The AI is done.
The
AI is we're done. But I mean, there is a lot so we did segment those people. We did create the data. I mean, we saw that what we basically saw was that you should get closings and you should expect closings in the first year. Um, those will probably come from search leads because of what Dan, just mentioned. Those people are actively searching. They're likely on a shorter timeline than, say, a social lead who's being served the ad proactively. But what we did see, so we would expect closings in the first year. I believe the guaranteed sale program was based on you you're getting the amount you invested in CINC at least back in year one. And then in year two, we would expect more sales. So I think 2 to 3 times what you saw in year one. And what we saw in that analysis was while search leads will probably generate your first sales, social leads catch up towards the tail end of year one and year two in terms of like closings. So that, but it depends so much on follow up, what tools you're using. I mean, I know we had a client a while ago who, had they closed 4 or 5 in the first 3 or 4 months, and then their ISA left and generated, started their own campaign, and they continued to, you know, sell leads within the first few months, and the site owner's sales dropped off. So, all the AI tools that we can offer, and we're continuing to beef those up, but there is a human element to it. Absolutely.
And Harry was kind of downplaying, I guess, the social leads. We generally recommend a combination of search and social, but just looking at we're now we have visibility into the closures over like the last few months, and there's a lot of social in there too. So that would be a lead came in and closed. So those happen too. Like percentage wise, pretty much the same. So it's
And a lot of Bing closings too. So, I mean, really, like what this exercise has showed us is that what we always thought happened is happening.
Yeah.
Like all of these networks are valuable if used correctly. And you want someone like CINC that knows what they're doing to do it. I think our results are better than competitors. We have 2 minutes, Dan. Do you want to talk about seasonality or?
That's an important point, Harry. Yes. So as you know, with lead flow, just over the course of the year, there is seasonality, and by quarter, the number of leads goes down. First quarter is the best, and then it slowly goes down, and then the fourth quarter, it goes down a bit more. And I always stress about it. It begins like the actual biggest decline. There's a couple avenues of decline. It's the middle of August, which is when the kiddies return to school. People have stopped looking for houses because they're like, well, the kids are at school. I'm not moving. So, oh well. I'm here another year. All right. And then so the cost per lead increases then. And then after the area between Thanksgiving and Christmas is the worst period. So, but I was always freaking out about it. And it's not a huge decline. It's like 10%, maybe 20%, like based on like December versus January, 20% difference. So it's not a huge decline, but it is. What is happening?
This is the social.
All right. Well, and then Harry's going to talk about the social. It's not as apparent with the social.
No, I'm just showing what you're talking about. Like this is where we are, and it's this normal seasonal. Boop. That's all. I'm just agreeing. I'm augmenting what you're saying.
All right.
Visually.
All right. So anyway, so you're gonna see a small drop in your monthly lead flow for the next couple months, and then it will spike in January. It goes up a lot better. We're better at our jobs in January, as we always say, but actually it's not the case. It's just that we're doing what we're doing, and people. It's funny. It's the day after Christmas. There's the spike begins on the day after Christmas, like literally on the day after Christmas, and so it's so we anyway. So that you have that to look forward to, but then smooth sailing. It's not as huge. I always was like really bummed out about it, like the declines. Oh my gosh, we're doing so terribly, and then like I've just had some more visibility to what our competitors were getting for cost per lead. It's like, oh wow, even that's a lot higher than ours. Even the worst of us is better than the best of theirs. So that made me feel good.
New slogan. CINC. Even the worst thing we do is better than the best thing they do.
Yes. So, but
no, it is normal, and I always like looking at this. This chart's always interesting because it shows how the bottom dropped out during COVID, and it's slowly come back, but it's still much better than it this year. It's much better than it was last year. And it's really interesting to me because, the social side, the ads are being served proactively. So, I mean, this really just, some of it is user behavior, but it also really just indicates competition levels of, you know, brick and mortar stores closed during COVID. They also shut off their ad spend. More people are at home more, so there's more eyeballs on the site. So CPL really drops. And, competition has just kind of increased back to normal. But this year, with a lot of the stuff that we've done, the cost per lead's actually decreased.
But if you look in between those gray lines, those gray vertical lines, that's a year. So you can tell, so you can definitely notice the seasonality, and the seasonality I think on social is not as extreme as on. Actually, it looks like it is as extreme as
Sort of extreme, yeah.
but it's going up and then it drops off like right at the end, up and then it drops, goes up over the course all the year except for COVID. All the years it did the same exact pattern, which is interesting.
I do
Yeah,
like
and
this
here's
chart here that shows that cost per lead this year, or so far this year, being pretty much on par, but actually less than it was in 2022. And I can't think of a lot of things that are less expensive than they were, that are as valuable as leads generated for our clients, that are less expensive than they were in 2022, right? So just, yeah, speaks to how much effort has been made and how many optimizations and that's been done to drive that cost down. It's a good
And
chart.
if you would expand that to the last 10 years, you would see that's probably cheaper than like 2017 or 2015, something like that. Even though that price of homes has increased so by a lot.
This also does show that 2020 was just the wildest time of lead flow and cost per lead.
Yeah, and
Totally
this
summed
is
up.
just to kind of further put it into perspective. This is from my monthly report, but the sync CPL did increase month over month, but it's much better than it was last year. So, all right, cool. Well, I think once I can figure out how to stop sharing my screen, I've hit some good notes today, like some high notes. I got really up there with this sky slope thing. Has anybody checked on Orlando? He
I don't think
just
he ever
misspelled
spoke.
sky
I think
slope
he had to jump on
twice.
another deal.
Yeah.
Same as
All right. Well, I hope he's
Wayland's
okay.
AI.
Well,
Wayland's AI was pulled to another Zoom as well.
yeah.
Not even during a low point. Like Wayland's AI bailed on us, like when we were talking about something relevant and important. I thought that was
I would
odd.
call that a high watermark. High watermark of this session.
Do you have
That's
anything to
why the
add,
robot
Sebastian? Special
the
guest
robots
star
will never take
Sebastian.
over. Robots.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Robots.
Do you have anything to add, Sebastian?
Oh,
Robots.
yeah. I haven't taken a look at the participants list and check to see who sent in questions, see if any of it overlapped. If there were any questions that we didn't answer, I know we spent a lot of time saying, reach out to your account manager for this, but if there's any questions you have that we didn't answer, just reach out to support at cincpro.com, 855-246. It's somewhere in the chat.
2717.
That's it. 2717. Thank you.
I was like, that's not right. I think there's more to it than that.
But yeah, we'll be happy to, if we can answer the question, at least point you in the right direction to get it answered. So yeah, I know there were a couple questions that maybe came in that I don't know if the person's here that we didn't answer it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Thanks everybody for what is now the 10th office hours.
They never said it could
And
last.
clip show incoming. Clip show incoming. So get ready for that. Best of office hours. Best of O. Spin-offs. Dan's gonna have his own. Oh, we are moving to Spotify officially.
Yeah.
So working on that. So in case you can't get enough of looking at our faces, we can talk at you in your car or on the treadmill or.
And I think I heard that podcast is now a category at the Emmys, I want to say.
The
So
Golden Globes.
cast
We
your
did not
votes.
get nominated this time, but I guess
Yeah.
because we're not on Spotify yet. So I don't know. We'll see.
I just like pulling up the participants list and watching people leave as we ramble about nonsense an hour and 6 minutes into this.
Talk the more the faster people are.
All right, that's enough. That's enough of this.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess we should take a cue from that and sign off.
Thank you,
Thanks everybody for
Sebastian.
joining. Thanks, James. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Sebastian. Wealth of great
Yes.
knowledge. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next month, the second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. So please sign up, send us a question. And yeah, we really appreciate everybody coming on. Without you guys, we wouldn't have jobs and be able to ramble about nonsense, in a Zoom. So thank you so much. If you love the show, be sure to tell your friends. And if you don't, just be quiet about it. So have a great day.
Appreciate you, Gary. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you, everybody.